Okay, welcome back, guys. Tonight we are going to go inside Substance Painter with our model that we created over in ZBrush just a little bit ago. And here you can see just a quick demo of what we're going to be working on today. We're going to set up all the materials, and we're really going to dirty up our nice pretty model we just took out of ZBrush. So if you want a nice shiny, clean, perfect model, take it to Keyshot. I'm just telling you that now because we're going to dirty this one up. We're going to give it some nice realistic looking rust and metal and all that. So I think we're going to have fun tonight working inside Substance Painter. And then on our next video we will be taking it into Element 3D to where we can do a render like this one here. And you can see I've already added the rust and all that. We'll even add little lens flares on there on the ports right there. And we'll have a good time inside Element 3D, or you can do it in Marmoset, anything that uses a PBR workflow. You know, anything that can accept your diffuse, your roughness channel, your metal channel, and then we'll have a emissive channel. You know, anything that can support that. I know Blender can do it. I'm sure Maya and Max can support it. So you're not limited to just going into Element 3D. You know. But that's what I'm going to show you how to do in the next video. So let's go ahead and we will go into Substance Painter. So I'm currently using version 1.3.2. That's their latest version that they have out at the moment. I'm not sure if the demos are running on the same version. I'm not sure. You'll have to look into it. But they got a bunch of new features that are just fabulous. I'm totally in love with this program again. I was in love to begin with. This basically works similar to the Quixel suite. I've tried that as well, but I actually prefer Substance Painter. Just for the simple fact that I can sit here and I can paint right onto my model, just like in ZBrush. And then it uses a layer system, just like in Photoshop. Well, I love Photoshop. So it was a perfect blend of both worlds for me. So I've seen a lot of great stuff come out of the Quixel suite, so if you're interested in that, it's actually a Photoshop plugin, and really all it is just a bunch of high-tech actions that it uses. So I've tried it, but I do prefer Substance Painter, so don't beat me up over it. So let's go ahead and let's go fetch our model. So what you want to do is do New. I usually keep it on OpenGL for the normal map generation. We'll do document resolution of 2048, 2K maps for now. We can readjust it later and output 4K maps. Currently that is the highest it can do, is 4K. So let's open up. We saved out our demo 86K over in ZBrush earlier. And we're going to load him up for the low res. And then also under your import mesh and maps, go ahead and add your demo high bitmap. You can do high or low, it doesn't really matter. It all generated the same out of ZBrush, so they're both identical. And then click OK. It will load up a scene and load up our low res model. And as you can see, it's kind of an ugly model right now, because we don't have any normals, ambient occlusion, or anything attached to it right now. And it is obviously a lower res model. If you click right up here, under your geometry decal, you can see here's your wireframe right here. And it can support either triangles or it can support quads, either one. It's happy with either one. So we'll go ahead and turn him back off, click back on our brush. And control-wise, real quick, if you hold down your Alt and then your left mouse button will rotate him around. Your center, pan left, right, up and down, whatever. And then your right will actually zoom in and out. And also you can zoom in and out with your mouse wheel. Okay, so let's go ahead and generate all our maps, which this new version can do for us. So we don't have to do it inside ZBrush or some of the other normal generators out there. This can do it all for us, and it can generate every map we need for Substance Painter to work correctly. So just go over here to your texture set settings, I guess, or yeah, it's right over here in this upper left panel, and click Bake Texture, and this bacon screen will come up here. Output size, we want 4K, so 4096. And you can see these little icons here. It's telling us that it needs it needs our high-res mesh inputted. So if we just click there, and we can open up our demo high. Okay, and now those go away. And we don't need thickness. Thickness is used for subsurface scattering. It'll create a map for that. It'll figure out the thickness of your model and generate a map to be able to wrap around for your subsurface scattering. But we're not doing that today. And we don't need an ID map. And I'll show you what we're going to use for ID. And that's just material ID to help you map things out better on your model. And I'll show you a little cheat that we'll do here in a minute. And you can go down here. You can actually you can do some sub-sampling, 2x2, 4x4, 8x8. We're going to do none today. I've done a 8x8. You might as well go read a book. I think it took about a half hour to render out all the maps. So that's just on my machine. This is a very graphics card hungry program. It's not as bad as some things out there, but when we start working with everything, it's going to use up your graphics card pretty well. So make sure you have your latest update on your graphics card so everything will work correctly. Substance Painter will even yell at you if you don't have an up-to-date driver for your graphics card. So just go out there, update your driver real quick. So we're going to go ahead, just leave all the default settings. We got all the maps that we want to do, and then just click Bake Texture. And I'm going to go ahead and pause this. It's only going to take about a minute, so I'm going to pause it and then we're going to come back, okay? Okay, I am back. Like I said, it took about a minute to do. As long as you don't do all that subsampling and all that, it really doesn't take long at all. And it produced some very nice maps for us. So we can zoom in, we can take a look. It's figured out all the normal information, the ambient occlusion, the curvature. It's actually done two different normals for us. You got your world space and then your regular tangent normal. And it's done it beautifully on this model. You can actually, I've actually done in the past, I've actually rendered, in ZBrush, I've actually done a low decimated model, and that works just fine as well. As long as you have that nice high model, you'll be okay. So just do some experimentation. Some things work better than others, you know, but I'm pretty happy with the maps it's generated and how quickly it generates them for me. So, and I think the only error-wise I think I had was probably up here with the ambient occlusion, right here on the little radar dish here. And I think that was due to the fact that when we displaced everything, you know, the front pushed into the back and the back pushed into the front. But it's okay. It's a nice little effect. You know, we can always do better job on our low poly mesh. You know, you can retopologize and stuff like that. But, you know, I'm trying to do this quick and dirty. You know, they do it in the big industry. They'll make these quick, you know, rough versions of the model. You know, knock it out, you know, in just a couple hours so they can see what it looks like in engine. You know, and then all these material sets that you could just save them. You can save them and then reapply them later to your production quality model. I mean, it's just wonderful. This program is just marvelous. So we now have our maps in there. Okay, and if you come over here, you can see all the maps it created, ambient occlusion and all that stuff, all that good stuff right there. And if you go click here, click your select ID map, and if you plug in, this is our high map that we made earlier in ZBrush. Click him, and he'll come into play here in a little bit. So let us play with some of these new smart materials. And all smart material is basically, if you're familiar with Substance Painter, all it is basically a folder with all the parameters built into it. So if you know, say like this weapon metal needs ambient occlusion and a curvature map, it'll pull it from over here in all the new textures that you just made. It'll pull it from there and automatically plug it in and make it happen for you. So say like this machinery, we'll drag him over and then just drop him. Okay, it drops the folder, drops everything in there, and it starts processing. If you see this little red bar here, it means it's processing the texture for you. So you just got to give it a, a few seconds or 30 seconds. It really depends. I'm capturing right now, so things are taking a little bit longer. So, but I mean, super quick. We've got this really cool looking little model here, and it's already figured everything out for us. And everything's adjustable. So say like I can click on this clean paint here. I can go down to the base color, click it. I could drop it down to kind of a red color, okay? Then you go to that dirty paint there, and I'll just drop him down to a red and maybe darken him. I mean, it's quick and it's easy, and you can modify everything. So, you can have, 10 of these things in your scene or whatever, and you can make a different color set for each one. All you got to do is just go in there and mess with that, and you're good to go. So, and they've already got like this generator built into it here. And let's see if I go down, and you look at all the image inputs, curvature, ambient, position. That's all the ones that we just made. So it figured it out for us. So these little smart materials are awesome, and you can easily save one of these. So just build up your folder the way it is, name it, and then right click and just click that little create smart material, and it'll drop it down in here for you. And as you can see, I've already made a couple in here, So, but I'm going to show you how to build those instead of just slapping them on here. So we are going to I'm going to turn him off for now. We'll come back and play with him later. Let's go ahead and make up our own material real quick. Actually, probably what I'll do is I'll cheat a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and do, I think a metal damage looks good. I'm going to drop him in there. Okay. And I'm going to go down to my base metal, hit base color, and then go select my demo high, and it just slapped my colors in there. Everything from that texture that we made. Very quick, very easy, but we're not done yet. No, we got to add a lot to this here. So let's go ahead and we're going to keep him there and select him real quick. And you'll notice if you ever add folders or add layers, it has a habit of if I was selected on him and added a folder or layer, it'll drop it into him. So it doesn't throw it all the way up top like it would like in Photoshop or something like that. So so just kind of watch out for that. I hope they fix that in the near future. So what I want to make, let's see, let's go ahead and add a layer, drag him back in there. I'm going to call this Rust. Okay. Now go to your layer 2 here, and you want to click this little thing here, I guess that's a substance, and add fill. Okay. And let's go ahead and go back to our basic materials. And what I'm looking for, I believe it's metal gold. Yes, okay. Yeah, we're not going to have a gold. That doesn't look anything like a rust. But it does have some nice parameters inside that gold material. It has a rust material, or a rust generator inside it. There we go. Alright, it's a little too much rust. I want a little bit of metal showing through. Okay. And you can change everything. And when you have the option to change UV projection, change it to tri-planar projection. It actually it'll hide any of your UV seams nicely. because sometimes some of these textures will actually stop at the UV seam and you'll see it. So that's a good way to hide a lot of things, is just to change it to triplanar projection. It only works on some things, like if we did it with our fill color or base fill color, it wouldn't work. So now let's go back up. We've created our big old rust layer here. Well, I don't want the whole thing covered in rust. So what I want to do is go to the top folder. We want to add, right click it, add black mask. Okay. So it's just like a layer mask inside Photoshop. But now I believe I want to do add generator. And then now I've select your little generator here. And then add, no, back down here. Go down to your little generator tab down here, click him. And I am looking for ground dirt. Alright. Now let's start playing with the properties here. Let's change our contrast up. I think change our level. Yeah. And then dirt height down. And as you can see, it's just on the base of our model. And that's what that little generator does, the MG ground dirt does for you. And it's just using your position map that we created earlier. And you can go in here and you can adjust all these little things. You can add more to it. Gives you a nice little look there. So now let's go ahead and close him up, right click, duplicate. Okay, now we made a second copy here, and I am going to call him Rust AO, so Rust Ambient Occlusion. So I need to change the generator, and I want to, let's see which one I like here. I think just MG Dirt. Let's see how that does. Okay, yeah, that's keying in on our ambient occlusion. As you can see, it's using our curvature and ambient occlusion to help generate it. So let's zoom in there. Let's see, just start messing with your dials there until you see something you like. Turn your dirt level down a little bit. We just want a little bit inside the crevices. I mean, it's not going to be super noticeable, but it's just the little things that really sell stuff in PBR. I mean, just the rust alone adds a lot to it. Okay, so now we got our stuff inside our ambient occlusion, or inside our crevices there. And let's go ahead and we're going to make a new folder. Figure out what I'm doing here. There we go. Alright, so he's all by himself there. That's good. Add a new layer. Drop him back into that folder. And we will do, we'll just call it dirt. Alright, so now let's go back to our layer 3 here, and we will add a fill again. Now let's go pick the material that we want. And I'm making a, I'm going to throw this in mostly our ambient occlusion. So want something, yeah, we'll select uniform black, and we'll adjust our settings down here, our roughness and our metallic. See, if you go up on the metallic, I think, now we want no metallic basically. So you can actually take metal off, and all it's going to do is a color and a rough. And the roughness, pretty much just crank it all the way up. We don't want any roughness at all, or any shininess to this at all. Okay. Now let's go ahead, and I think on my top channel here I want to do black mask again. And then we will add a, I think generator. I think is what I used before. do the same thing as MG Dirt. Let's see, trying to figure out how I built it here. You know, let me just delete this. I've already built one of these, and I know I'm not building it the right way here. So, and I'll show you how it's done. So go ahead and click, drag. Well, you're not going to have this one, so but I'll show you how it's built. All right, there we go. That's the effect I want. That's the nice thing about these smart materials. I made this one. I don't have to make it again. So let me see how I did make it though. Okay. So I've got this base color. Yeah, it's almost black. And then I've got this roughness. I can actually drag him all the way up. Let's go. Okay, here's how I built him. Okay, I did a fill layer. I can actually change him. Well, no, I don't want to change him. UV projection. Okay, so that's okay. I see how I did it. All right, I used our ambient occlusion to generate it, and then I went up to levels, and then I adjusted it. I clamped it a little bit. So you can go in and just fine tune it. And then I also added a little bit of a blur to it. It has to be real subtle, because I didn't want it to be super harsh, because all your engines are going to be able to generate a ambient occlusion anyways for you. And that's how that one is built. And it's just using this mask right here, and then I created a fill using our ambient occlusion, and then adjusted levels, which you can go back and you can fine tune it. You can dial it back. So, and then you know, if you don't like that or it's too much for you, if you selected the base color right here, and if you click and hold, you can see all the different channels you can choose from. That's the nice thing about this. It's generating all our maps at one time. So, and you can adjust each one. So, say like that color is just a little too intense for me. Oops. I want to be adjusting the main folder. Now go to you can dial them back. You don't have to just accept anything. I mean, there's so much control in here, it's ridiculous. I mean, so let us see here. So say like you want to add some grime and weather into this, like some grease or something like that. This is the fun one right here. You're going to love this. Alright, so we created a new folder. I'm going to call him Grease. Not the movie, just Grease. Alright, now give yourself another layer. Drop him in the Grease folder here. And let us go back to our materials. And let me find one that I like to use. I think it's this metal steel brushed. I think that's the one I like to use. And go to your particles tab. This is just absolutely fun. This is where Substance Painter has got Quixel beat. Sorry guys. And we were going to select do heavy leak in here. I think that's the one I like. Yeah. Now, just draw on here. Look at that. Look at all that grease coming off there. That is so cool. Let's monkey up our dish here. Let me zoom in a little bit so you guys can see. It's using your normals, it's using the position map and gravity. It's all applying there. On the other side here, dirty up the other side. Maybe pour some down the antenna here. Just all sorts of fun with this. I think I've sat here for hours playing with just the particle brush. It's just so much fun. You know, let's go to like this organic spread. I'll throw just a hair on the radar dish here, just so you can see this fun one here. Just got to tap once, or no, tap and drag. Oh, look at that. Doesn't quite go with what we're doing here, but that's a fun one. You can have a lot of fun. You can actually generate textures with that. I've seen some people make like the iris of the eye or the veins around your eye. It's just crazy. Crazy fun. Let me go back to heavy leaking. I'm just going to dab a few more around here. You know, like I said, we're just dirtying up our model here. You know, it's crazy. You can have a lot of fun with this program. And it just darts into those little crevices there. It's just wonderful. Okay, let's create another layer inside the grease here. And let's, another one, do rain. And if you hit your little bracket key, just like in Photoshop, it'll raise the size of your brush. I'm going to make him a little large here, just so we can see the effect. And then click and hold. Looks like snow, but it's technically rain. And now it is muddying our whole thing. It's kind of pooling in our little crevices all over the place. And everything, I mean, you can go in and you can mess with all these little physicals, the physics tab here. You know, you can change the direction of gravity, the particle life, spawn distance, turbulence power. I mean, they've got so many options in there just for the particle brushes alone. And it's, yeah, it's wonderful. I love this program. Did I tell you I love it? So, now we're almost done dirtying up this thing. I don't know about you, but it hasn't taken that long to do this. Not bad. Looks like, real quick, I'll show you down here. It looks like some of the UVs or something will happen down here in this hub right here. So you may experience the same problem. I'm not sure, because you actually generate a slightly different displacement on yours, so you may or may not have that issue. But yeah, like I said, this is probably not production quality. No, it's not. But you can certainly get your model in there, and if it's something in the background, who cares, right? But if you're going to be zoomed in like out here looking at it, man, it looks great out here, don't it? Alright, let me show you something else here before we kind of wrap this thing up here. Let us, remember this machinery down here? I'm going to drag him just above, okay, yeah, he's above our metal damaged here. So I can turn him on. Okay, now I got this metal damaged look here. Or machinery, sorry. Okay, so what do I mean, say like I want, let me turn him off. How would I go about like maybe changing the color of like this panel here and all the corresponding ones that are like that color? That's super easy. Let me turn him on. Add a black or add a mask with color selection. This is where our ID map comes in. It's not the best ID map. You actually want to have a flat color texture, but we can even use that one that we generated in ZBrush. So pick color, and once you hit pick color, it switches to the ID mask, so it turns everything else off. So let's pick like this color here. Oh wow, look at that. Pretty neat. You can turn the hardness down a little bit so it kind of bleeds in, and you can adjust the tolerance. If you go up on the tolerance, it's going to slowly but surely get all those dark gray ones. But if you don't want, I mean, it's entirely up to you. So, okay, let's pick another one here. Or actually, why don't we right click and duplicate. Okay, now I've got a copy of it. Go to your color selection, subtract that. We don't want that one anymore. Let's do, real fast. Yep, still updating there. Just wondering why my icons weren't up yet. Alright, let's wait a second here. That machinery one is very intensive on the CPU or the GPU there. So you got to give it a second here. So let's go ahead and let's change it back to our yellow. Okay, let's see how that looks. Okay, now go back up to your color selection. Pick color. And let's do this lighter shaded right here. Oh, okay. I think I need to Alright, why don't we do a blue instead? Move to blue. Ugh, blue's not working. Huh. Well, that was a thought though. I was going to try to get some multicolored panels in there. So, right click and delete. Delete. Okay. So let's just go back to our color selection here and let's pick another one. Pick another one. Bam. Pretty spiffy. So you can change these things so quickly, so easily. And now I want to make an emissive channel. Well, we're not set up to make any emissive. How do I do that? Because we're only set up for base color, height, roughness, and metallic. Super easy. We can add another map. So just click that little plus there and go to emissive. And the emissive is going to be our little portholes here that are emitting light. Well, inside Element 3D, we can it's basically creating a glow channel, or in this case, emissive channel. So go ahead and create another folder. Double click him. Okay, emissive. And now create a new layer. Drop it in emissive. And it's always good to make sure you're labeling things. Yeah, just so you can come back quickly and easily. And yeah. So now we got our layer here. We want to add a fill and turn off metal, rough, height, and color. And now change your emissive there. Drag him all the way up on the V, and then S, which is saturation, and we'll go with a blue for now, okay? Everything is changeable later. Now click on the top, add a black mask, or mask with color selection, and now pick a color, go in and pick your blue. Boom, we just made an emissive channel. How cool is that? So pretty much under 30 minutes. I know it's 33 minutes, but I did a lot of talking at first. So we've made a halfway decent model, or texture actually. We already did the model. And if you want to see what it looks like under different settings, come over to right here in your viewer settings, click this little panorama thing here, or environment map, and you got all these other maps you can choose. So let's do like this interior shot. Not bad. That's pretty cool. You can turn him around using the Alt and forgot to tell you, if you do Shift and then do that, it'll rotate your environment, a little like a key shot. But another new feature, which is pretty cool, you can actually click on shadows. It has shadows now. Then if you go to Post Effects, activate Post Effects, Anti-Aliasing, and go down to Glare. Let me turn him around so we can see. Okay, so Glare is on there. I kind of like, which one is it? Just Bloom. Bloom is nice. So a little overpowering in here. Those shadows add a lot in here. I'm just waiting for Substance Painter to start being able to do turntables. You wouldn't need Marmoset anymore. Sorry guys. And if you really want to doll up your model here, go over to size, drop it down to 4096, drop it to 4K. This may take a second to work, but it will recompute everything in this layer stack, even if all the particles and everything, it'll recompute everything for you. So you can make a 1K map, 2, and a 4. You can make all those different maps using just the same scene. It's just absolutely wonderful. And when it gets done generating, we'll zoom in a little closer and we'll see all this materials up close and personal. And usually it processes it like twice, so we'll wait here a second until it's done, and then I can go in and zoom in and show you. Yeah, I can still zoom in a little bit. It's just really slow at the moment. Like I said, I'm capturing it at the same time, so it's a little slow. Alright, I think we're good now. Now we can see these PBR. See this PBR material in action here. Go down here with the rust. You see all the normal information, everything was pushed in just a little bit. All the rust inside the cavities there. Got a nice little emissive channel there. Looks a little flat and boring right now, which is fine. You can actually, if you wanted, just take a screenshot of it. You can just turn your emissive channel off if you wanted. But anytime you turn off a layer or add a layer, it's going to recompute. So always work in 2K. Or if you have a even older system, work in 1K and then generate everything. The love of PBR materials adds so much life to your models. Yeah, let's throw another scene in here. Let's see what it looks like. Gotta go find it real quick. It's under viewer settings, and I think this is a desert one. Yeah, that's cool. Get a lot of specular hits there on the grease up top there. Turn the light around here. Yeah, like I said, if this thing, I'm pretty sure it's in the works, but down the road, if Substance Painter does turntables, I wouldn't even need Element 3D anymore, to be honest with you. But the nice thing about Element 3D is it's all in Photoshop, or it's in After Effects, which I'm quite familiar with, so which is kind of nice. Very cool, very cool. Alrighty, well, now since I've been playing with this for the past 5 minutes, just showing all the different lights and everything, turn our emissive back on. And now, are you ready? Go to export all channels, and obviously let's go ahead and just save. Always save, I tell you that, but I never do. So let me find my folder here, save, demo. So now you can pull that up anytime you want, and it's actually a real small file size, so which is very cool because a lot of this is procedural, which is great, which is going to be very handy for you. You can make it once and then make your smart materials, and you can slap it onto another object, or you can go in and change all this red metal to blue or green or whatever, or just change which panels it's projected on. It's very cool of what you can do with this. Possibilities are kind of endless, really. So let's go to File, Export All Channels, and we'll keep it at the document size. Or if we're in 2K or 1K, you just change it to the corresponding height that you want or the size that you want. And for the sake of the tutorial, we're just going to do JPEG. As you can see, you got multiple ways that you can export. TIFFs, bitmaps, all these other files I'm not too familiar with. PSD, which is Photoshop. So ping, you could do an 8 or 16 bits. So for the sake here, we're just going to do bitmap, which is a small file size. So, and then you click right here. We'll create a new folder. Demo, if you didn't already guess. And then open him up, select that folder. And since we're already at 4K resolution for the document size, this ain't going to take no time at all. You can be, like I said, you can be in a different size and it'll recompute it. So open folder, and let's go see. Here's our base color, and see it's separated it all for us. So it's just basic color information that it's using. We can zoom in here, and you can see it, and it's done it beautifully. Zoom back in. And don't worry about these little stretched out ones here. That's just going between the UV tiles. So that ain't nothing to worry about. It's still retaining your UV maps and everything. Alright, let's go to, here's our emissive channel. They all ended up on the outside there, which is fine. It's not a big deal. Here's a height map if you wanted to use it for a displacement or a bump. Here's our metallic map here. And then you got your normal, which is using the OpenGL. And then we can zoom in and see all that beauty right there. So it's taken it's layered everything together. So all our, bits and pieces of the rust and everything is projecting onto the new normal. So very nice. Let's see, do I have another one? And then the big seller is your roughness. That's what really sells PBR materials. It's better than specular maps. Specular is old school. Roughness is the new one. So it's basically going to tell you wherever it's dark, it's not shiny. Wherever it's white, it's shiny. Basically, that's the gist of it. And that's what helps sell this. Sells everything in this new PBR system. So that is pretty much it, guys. I hope you got something out of this. We're going to move on to After Effects using Element 3D, and then we'll use a little bit of optical flares for our little, using our little emission channel here. We'll use that to help generate it. And like I said, I hope you got something out of this. Definitely feel free to comment here in the post or here in the video, or you can catch up with me over at ZBrush Central. I'm there quite often. Happy to respond. You guys have a great night, and we will see you in Element 3D next.